hunting. Am I live? Probably. There we go. Lovely. About the chat. This little window here. Post the social post. And let's get hunting the final Furfrou. How successful will today's shiny Furfrou hunt be? Only time will tell. Hey Terra! It is indeed time for the Pokémons. I'm crossing my fingers that we have a good successful hunt today. I might actually be able to move on to a different shiny hunt. I might, for the first time in about a week, be able to shiny hunt something that isn't a Furfrou. I'm only one shiny Furfrou away from completing my quest now. Oh, Incompetent Hero, thank you very much for the 39 months of sub. Happy shiny hunting. Happy shiny hunting indeed. What's my favorite Pokemon type? Sorry. Threw a regular Pokeball at that, because, hey, I guess we could change the name of the stream. I'm catching multiple. So if you've not been around for these Furfrou hunting streams in Incompetent Hero, the gimmick with Furfrou, I didn't have a shiny Furfrou before last week, and it comes in 10 different fur patterns. You can give it a haircut and give it 10 different aesthetics. So I've been trying to shiny hunt 10 shiny Furfrou so that I can have one of every fur pattern. On Friday's stream, it took us 3 hours to find a shiny Furfrou, and we are, what, 2.5 minutes into, into today's stream. Cheeseburger Laser asked what my favorite Pokemon type was. I feel like the only correct answer for me to say is shiny. Shiny is my favorite type of Pokemon. If I was gonna go for an elemental type, I'm a big fan of ghost types. There's not a lot of them, but a lot of my favorite aesthetically and narratively do end up being ghosts. Okay, well, I guess I gotta work out what we're shiny hunting next today. Where am I? I'm warping to Zone 11 so we can go get this haircut. Goodness gracious. So, I know some of the other things that are available in this game that I don't yet have in my living shiny decks that, I could be going for. It depends whether I want to go for, like, a single individual Pokemon just so that I can knock an entry off easily, or if I want to start my next big hunt that's going to be... It's going to be at least 6 shinies I need for the next, like, big batch, which is the Elemental Monkeys, which I'm going to need all 3 Elemental Monkeys twice so that I can evolve them and also have their evolved forms in shiny. Terra asking about Dice Funk. Is Hop claiming that she's collecting tall blue women because she's looking for a shiny one? Shh, don't give the game away. Austin hasn't worked that out yet. That's why I'm so cautious how and when I play Pokemon. My completionist brain is so much unwilling to not go after shinies and other variants. Collector and completionist brain is sometimes a boon, but in gaming it's a curse more often than not. Yes, I'm already approaching 110 hours in Legends ZA, largely because of shiny hunting. It's a gift and a curse, and I must live with it. So, to Cheeseburger Lasers, I am currently on the quest for a living shiny national dex. So, one of every species of shiny Pokemon across the entire series that can be gained shiny. And I am very close to completing that goal. I am, off the top of my head... Actually, let me double check. Let me pull the document up. I have... Have I ticked Furfrou off yet, or was I waiting until I got all 10 before? Okay, I have. I have roughly 74 species of Pokemon across the entire series left to collect. I am 93.3% of the way to a Living Shiny National Dex. 1,038 shiny species caught, 74 to go. So yes, this is the final haircut I was looking for. This was my final one. I will show off all of my shiny Furfrou patterns. Also, back in X and Y, the last time that Furfrou was available, it would only... The haircuts you gave would only last for 5 days, whereas now, they seem to be permanent. So, hell yes, we have Unstyled, we have Heart, Star, Diamond, Debutante, I think this one is called, Sports Hat, Fancy Top Hat and Tie, the blue hairstyle, orange hairstyle, Pharaoh hairstyle. I think it's meant to be like a, like the I forget what the ancient Egyptian headdress is called. How did you do the hunt? Just fly in and fly out of Zone 19? I will show you. I've been doing it on stream, and accidentally 2.5 minutes into the stream got the last shiny I was looking for. So literally, the way I've been shiny hunting Furfrou is fast travel to Zone 19. Now, traditionally, a lot of the shiny hunts I do in this game are just fast travel to the same location over and over, because the way it works is, if I drop a pin right here where I am, you can go up to 50 steps away from the fast travel point, and stuff will automatically spawn in. The issue being that 50 steps away from here is only about this far, and you can occasionally get a Furfrou spawn in that 50 range, but most of the Furfrou spawn up the top end. So you can't really just fast travel to Wild Area 19 over and over, unfortunately. What you kind of have to do is fast travel, run through, and I will show you the running route that I did, that I generally do to check all the locations that Furfrou might be. You run along here, sometimes there's a Furfrou in the middle, sometimes there's a Furfrou where that Kangaskhan is, sometimes there's a Furfrou in the daytime on this bandstand. There's often as many as 4 or 5 Furfrou up this top end. You run out the far end to de-aggro, fast travel again. It's literally just run through. What you're really looking for is, fingers crossed you see 4 or 5 Furfrou at the top end. There are times where I've skipped the bottom end of this, because there might be like 1 or 2 spawns, but your big batch is like 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. There were 4 up the top end this time. That's the whole shiny hunting method for this one. I tried looking up on all these roofs or on the side streets nearby to see if there was a bench to do the day and night resetting method. Like, that was closer to this end of Wild Area 19. There isn't. I could not find a doorway to go in and out of, or a bench to rest at that was close enough. So some of the other shiny hunts we're going to do. The other thing that I keep needing to check is this alleyway. Like, the Trubbish and Patrat in this alleyway are often close enough when I'm doing the run-through that they get rolled and might be shiny. The other place that I have been checking frequently is... Actually, I'm going to double-check all the places that might have shinies, because I've been doing this shiny hunt. This alleyway for Trubbish, and there's a Patrat and a Trubbish the other end that could be shiny, because they're close enough to where I'm running around. I wonder how much time you've saved by playing on a Switch 2. God, the loading screens are so fast on Switch 2. Sometimes this bird, I've forgotten its name. Sometimes that's shiny when I'm doing this hunt. And sometimes, that would be why I'm checking these zones. Sometimes there's a shiny Trubbish or Garbodor in this, because again, it's close enough to where I'm running in Route 19 when I'm doing that run looking for Furfrous. Yeah, the loading screens are too fast for me to read the loading tips on Switch 2. But yes, daytime. We'll do one last run through, because I can kind of show it off again. There's sometimes a Furfrou here. It's not quite within the 50 range. this Drampar is occasionally in, like, the afternoon replaced with Furfrou, and these Kangaskhan spawns can be Furfrou. It's just luck of the draw. But, there we go. Right, I gotta look at my list. What do I need to shiny hunt next? Let me pull up the list. So, Furfrou is done. So, there is a shiny hunt that I've half done that I could go back to. I don't want to do it yet. I want to leave it for later in the stream. Is, Amolga, Amora, and Aurorus. These fossil Pokemon. I have one of these. It's not a particularly exciting shiny hunt, this. It's just, I have 30 fossils. I spend 6.5 minutes mashing A, see if any of them are shiny, reset the game, continue. Emolga. Shiny Emolga. Right, let me have a look at the zones. Is Emolga a standard spawn? I know Emolga appears a lot on the rooftops. I don't remember if it's a out in the open world only spawn, or if it's one that appears in a wild area as a standard spawn. Emolga. Emolga, do you appear in... you do. I was doing the fast travel method, was only getting one Furfrou at a time. Says Sam Norton in the YouTube chat. Yeah, that was my problem. I started doing the Furfrou hunt just resetting, and occasionally, like, there was one Furfrou location that might get rolled, but in the time it took me to do 5 or 6 resets fast traveling, it was quicker to just run up the other end, run out, and have seen probably more than 5. The wild zone with the Aron. Yeah. I think I also need Helioptile and Heliolisk. Okay, so this is a good zone for me to shiny hunt next, is this one, because there's 2 things in here I need shiny. Hey, Rule Spider. One of the games I hope shows up on Switch 2 quickly after release is Petal Crash 2, Trans Women Made Game. Cool. Also, NK Man says, I did some shiny hunting last night and found a shiny Alpha Gardevoir. Heck yeah. I have a couple of Alpha shinies, I don't remember which ones right now. I'm not quite at the point of going out of my way to shiny hunt, Alphas specifically. Right, I need to put a pin down, and I need to see... Is this one where I can just fast travel hunt? Grayson on Petty, yeah, it's a shame that that we don't get bigger text size for menus and UI in this game. Though, if you watch the second Kirby Air Riders Direct, Sakurai's putting a shit ton of accessibility stuff in Kirby Air Riders, and that's really cool. About 52 minutes into the second Air Riders Direct, real cool to see that level of accessibility showing up in a Nintendo-published game. Welcome, we're being raided. Hello, raiders. Hi, I'm Laura. I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch. We're shiny hunting Pokemon right now, looking for rare color variants. NK Man says, I was disappointed there wasn't a reaction stream for that direct. I was out getting tattoos. You can kind of see my new tattoo there at the top. I had to pick... I booked tattoos before the direct was announced, and I was like, it's the second direct for a game that's already had an hour of direct. Probably not going to be that important. I was not around for the first Nintendo Direct to ever have an accessibility segment. Goddamn. Don't worry, I've got a video going up about it today, at some point this week. Right, a range of 50 would bring me to, like, here. Do Emolga, Helioptile, Heliolisk appear in this first end? This is the question. I need to know where the spawn points are. Heliolisk, I think, is in this back corner somewhere. No, okay. Okay, Helioptile is right on the border. Helioptile, if I just fast travel here and don't actually go into the zone, we might get shiny Helioptile that way. Where is this Emolga that's supposedly in here? Is this one of the ones where it's like on a roof or something? I think it's very cool that Top Ride's coming back. I think that's very cool. Oh, Emolga's on the roof. Ooh. Emolga's within a range of 50 as well. Okay. Broblerone, fantastic Twitch name, by the way. How's the hunt going? Well, here's how it's going. I named the stream Shiny Hunting Furfrou in Legends ZA, and then I found the 10th Shiny Furfrou I needed to have a collection of all the fur patterns 2.5 minutes into the stream. So now we're shiny hunting different stuff. And this is going to be one of those shiny hunts that's probably honestly going to look less impressive. It's going to be a faster shiny hunt, but probably less visually interesting than the Furfrou one I was doing. Because this is how you shiny hunt if you know that the targets of your shiny hunt are within 50 steps of your fast travel point, is you literally just fast travel again and again, because the Pokemon don't actually need to visually load into view. Anything within 50 steps of where I'm fast traveling here, which is both Emolga and Helioptile, can be shiny. Yeah, Emolga is on like a little transformer substation roof. Also, very quickly, I gotta pause because I believe Jane has just sent me the thumbnail for this week's AA about Kirby Air Riders having an accessibility menu. Oh yeah, that is a perfect thumbnail. Perfect. There we go. I don't know what day of the week it's going to go up. Might put it up a little earlier this week. It might be like... Might put it up tomorrow or Wednesday, depending how things go. We'll see. But yes. What's the name of the Pokemon whose shiny has quintillions of variations? Spinder. I've talked about this before. When I complete my living shiny dex one of these days, my living shiny national dex, until the next generation of games comes out and I start shiny hunting again, my quest is going to be, my ongoing quest is going to be, have the world's largest collection of unique spot pattern shiny Spinders. I am determined to have the world's largest collection of unique shiny Spinders, and that will be my that will be the post game for me shiny hunting. How many different unique shiny Spinders can I force into my collection before I run out of space? Laura's retirement will be hunting shiny Spinders. I feel like at a certain point, like, that would be Guinness Book of World Records worthy if I had a big enough collection of shiny Spinders. Ooh, there's a shiny Aron in there. Oh hey, I see you shiny with your bright red eyes. Give me a sec. God, I'm 109 hours in already. Okay. While I'm here, anything else in this front row shiny? Let's have a listen for the sparkle. Might even finish some Gundams too. I'll get there some of these days. I'll get there. Ah! Stop attacking me, everything. Cool. Yeah, as you can see, you do not have to go into the zone to shiny hunt. You can just... Also, one thing of note, I believe is the case, I'm not certain on this, I believe it is the case that if a shiny spawns in this range of 50, it will physically spawn in without having to get as close as you usually do for it to appear. As with that Aron, the reason why it was just, like, visibly there, despite the fact that most of these times when I load in, there is nothing to see, is because it was shiny. Helioptile, I think, is too far around the corner for us to see, but I think with Emolga, we should be able to see... If we see an Emolga on that roof, it probably means it's a shiny. I think is how it works. Wasn't it Pavilion that had colours and patterns to its wings that were unique per country? Yes. So there are... I don't remember the number. I think it's like a dozen Pavilion patterns. So Pavilion's not the worst one in the world for that. So you gotta do some trading with other shiny collectors and whatnot, or play. Did I get my last poodle? Yeah, Jane. We are 19 minutes into the stream. 2.5 minutes into the stream, I found the final poodle. A bit of an anticlimax. So we're now shiny hunting for a flying squirrel and 2 frilled lizards. Endgame Man says, I was trying to hunt the starters in World Zone 20, no luck there aside from the Gardevoir. Yeah, sometimes that's how it goes. I don't think I need any of the shinies, but I do know a good shiny hunting location for Froakie, I think it is, that's pretty cool. But perfect thumbnail, Jane. Absolutely perfect work as ever. Speaking of God of War, did you watch that anime short about the delivery man with a God of War partner? No, is this a new recent short? I'm sure it's a wholesome short about a man and his God of War, and not at all... Not at all... Because when you tell me there's a story about an adult man and his God of War, okay, it's wholesome, cool. I would load it up on stream, have a look at it on stream. I'm currently on the mild naughty step with YouTube for having watched a few seconds of the Homestuck pilot on stream. So I'm not gonna load that Pokemon short up because I don't know how shouty Pokemon is gonna be if I show their animated short on stream. But I will note to check it out. Yes, there's a short list of Pokemon you have to side-eye without context when they come up. Yes, Terra. Yeah, I think I saw a screenshot of this thing and had zero context for it. Right. I know I don't need to, but every now and then I am probably just going to walk in just to go, hey, anything shining? Not you. Not you. Okay. All the things I actually need to be shiny, but I'm going to run around the immediate vicinity just to check. If there are any shinies, I can... Oh yeah, I need to think about, are there areas around here where shinies might otherwise spawn that I need to keep an eye on? Ah! Oh, yeah, okay, that's, you see the question I'm asking is, do I need to, keep an eye out for other shiny spawn locations, that overlap where I'm fast traveling? Oh, what a day today has been. I can't remember if these are roofs that you can get onto, and if so, whether I need to be paying attention to them for shiny hunting purposes or not. I spawn in here. I suppose the other side of the road we could be getting shiny spawns. Out of curiosity, if I fast travel, put the pin down... I want to see how far the spawn radius is, just so I know for reference. Yeah, we're up to 3 shinies in 20 minutes. One of them was the one I needed. Okay, so it would be barely to the other. Is there anywhere on the rooftops here that's within 50? Not that I'm gonna like keep a close eye on here, but like. Yeah, in theory, maybe this Bunnelby could turn out shiny. I don't think I need to worry about unintended rooftop spawns. I think it's probably just the river. Could be shiny Magikarps. Okay. These are the things you have to think about, because the way that this game stores shiny Pokemon once they've been registered, I've talked about this before. Every time I load in, any Pokemon within 50 meters of this point are getting sort of loaded into memory, and they're rolling the numbers to see if they're shiny. If one is shiny, it gets saved to a location in memory that's dedicated to slots for shiny Pokemon and their locations and data, meaning that in a lot of the past games, if I was here and there was a shiny, and I fast-traveled to the exact place I currently am, the game would roll again to see if that Pokemon's shiny and would replace the shiny with a non-shiny. If it failed the roll, which it probably would. But here, you roll a shiny, it's pretty stable. Which is great. It means that I can do this method and check all Pokemon in that first half of the zone without actually having to go physically check them. And if they're shiny, that's great. They will be shiny no matter how many more times I reset. But there's only a limited number of those shiny spots. I believe it is 10. And I don't want to have a situation where, like, all 10 of my shiny slots are filled with, like, stuff behind me I'm not paying attention to, and I'm worrying why nothing in front of me is getting shiny rolled because all of the 10 slots are used up with like a river full of Magikarp behind me I haven't noticed. NK Man says, how would you rank ZA against the rest of the Pokemon Switch games? I think that it has the best side content density of the series, and I quite enjoy that. I think it is interesting to see a Pokemon game that is more focused on what can we do with one very detailed location as a sort of playground. I think that for all of the technical problems, here's my opinion. For all of the technical problems that existed with Scarlet and Violet on Switch 1 at launch, I really liked them. They are where I want the Pokemon series to be going in terms of level of openness, open-ended, go chase your own goals. Like, my dream Pokemon game is Scarlet and Violet with the Pokédex system from Legends Arceus. That's, like, my ideal. Legends Arceus was great. I do miss the open catching nature. The fact that all Pokemon were in zones where you knew exactly what Pokemon were going to be in those zones did take some of the history out of catching for me. But this game is ultimately not really about the catching. It is about battling more so, and I think it's interesting that we got a spin-off around that. I really like the new combat system, the real-time combat system. There are now rumors doing the rounds that Gen 10 will have the option to do turn-based battles or real-time battles, and you as the player can choose which of those two styles you want to do. If accurate, I think that's a very good compromise for the series going forward. Also, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a shiny here. Is that a shiny or is it an alpha? It's an alpha. I saw the red eyes, and I know that Aron, when it's shiny, has red eyes, and I was like, they were. Oh, well that'll do. Layer on. Yeah, like, if I think about Pokemon games that personally did everything I want in a Pokemon game, Legends Arceus was honestly pretty much there in terms of how I want, like, combat and exploration in an open world to be. It just wasn't a true open world. It was sort of segmented zones. I think the Pokédex stuff is exactly how I want, like, Pokédexes and, like, boosting shiny odds per species to work. I absolutely love it. I really like agile and strong style moves, but I know they'll never come back to the series. Scarlet and Violet, I know people complained about the tech stuff on it. It runs 60 FPS now on Switch 2, and that's great. I envy anyone who's playing it for the first time on Switch 2, because I loved all the new Pokemon designs. I thought that terrestrialization was a really bloody good mechanic. Also, is that another shiny? No, that was a... I think Scarlet and Violet did a lot of things right for me, and it really did capture that both Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet really captured that dream of a proper open world, just get lost in a big world Pokemon hunting kind of experience. And bringing this to a smaller, condensed city, it has some cool appeal. It's not the direction I want the Pokemon series to ultimately go. Roll Spider says, people who want to do competitive PvP online play are so used to the turn-based aspect, I think they won't move away from it. No, here's what I reckon. Online ranked competitive is going to move pretty much permanently to Pokemon Champions, which will be a turn-based only affair, and will be where the serious competition plays. I think that they want to move the actual generational releases into being a bit more detached from the online PvP. So they offer you a single-player Pokemon RPG where you can battle your friends, you know, in turn-based or real-time battles, however you want to do it. They can play around with whatever unique mechanics they want to play around with. And then when you move your Pokemon from Gen 10 to Pokemon Champions, that's where you do your serious turn-based only online competitive battling. I think that is why Pokemon Champions largely exists, is so that they do not feel constrained in such a way to go, we can't do X, Y, or Z with the next mainline entry, because that will mess with what the the very small niche of online ranked competitive players want out of the series. We will allow them to move their Pokemon into the ranked only box where it's the ranked rules they like, and feel a bit more free to experiment more in the main series mechanics. I will that be adopted by the community? 100%, I think it will. In that moving the competitive into its own thing, where you can like Pokemon's Showdown style. You can tweak all of your stats. You can basically like custom build the thing you want to be running with on your team. You can be doing your online competitive against. I think the biggest thing is going to be a huge influx of new people doing ranked competitive Pokemon because it's available on their phone for free. I think that is going to be motivation for the competitive community to move to Champions. Particularly when it's like, hey, we're going to do a season of competitive where, like, Megas versus Gigantamax is legal. That's a fun, like, team building challenge. I do think that's going to be what they try next year. Hey, Nathalie, I'm good. I got my shiny poodle that I needed in 2.5 minutes of streaming. So now we're hunting for frilled lizards and flying squirrels by fast traveling on repeat. It's a shame. There's basically only one spawn of each of these two creatures in the zone, so it would be great if there was a place to shiny hunt where multiple of each were spawned in. But I think those are the only two in this zone, full stop. There's not like there's a better location in the zone I could be looking for like a bench reset near. Yes, there's... The rumblings around Gen 10 are interesting. Because, like, let me talk you through some of my Pokemon series thoughts. 1 second. Sorry, I'm getting spammed with work messages. Sorry, I'm double checking. Sorry, I'm trying to organize Pogquisition recording for this week. Everything is shuffled around because the UK clocks changed, but the American clocks didn't change yet. So we're in the weird limbo week where I have to message everyone that I podcast with who is in America, like, hey, you never noticed this has happened, but we're in the limbo week again. Shall I move my recording, or are you going to move your recording? Yes, so reasons why I think we're moving all competitive over to Pokemon Champions. A big part of it is, I think the reason we got X and Y, we got Legend ZA and all of its new Mega Evolutions is Mega Pokemon aren't going to be in Gen 10, but they are going to be supported in the first wave of Legend ZA. We've seen Mega Evolutions going up against Gigantamax and Dynamax's or Terrestrializations in the trailers. I think this is them producing new Mega Evolution content, and your first opportunity to use these new Megas in turn-based online competitive play will be Pokemon Champions. I think if you want to use a... you want to try out Mega Starmie and whatever its signature ability is in turn-based online play, Pokemon Champions is going to be your first place to do it. And I think, like, that's going to be enough to bring a lot of people over to Champions. Rule Spider says, I'm hearing from PvP people, at least here in France, where they're very wary of the economical model of Champions will have. They don't seem to want to move to Champions. The videos I saw were like, look, we clearly see that you're trying to appeal to us, this game being mobile, I don't know, mate, I'm not keen on entering a microtransaction hell, personally. Here's the thing, Raw Spider. It has been confirmed that this game will not have real money microtransactions. There will be no way to spend money on Pokemon Champions. It is one of the few things we know about it that was fascinating. Because, yeah, I had those same concerns when it was first announced, and we had, like, a tone trailer and no information. Now that we have information, there will be no way to spend money on Pokemon Champions. They're hoping that you buy the, like, Gen 10 and Pokemon Home to interact, like, to get the new Pokemon and move your Pokemon over to Champions or whatever. There will be no direct monetization of Pokemon Champions, which is the most interesting thing to me about it. That they are seemingly just completely eschewing the idea of monetizing it directly. Oh, what did I hear, Shiny? What are you? In this hole. Drillbur. Also, was there no Emolga this time on the thing? Heliolisk, why are you all the way up here? Also, a second Heliolisk up here. There could be multiple Heliolisk further up. Do I find a bench? Where would I want to find a bench if I was going to do that? Emolga, you've come up here. Why have you all moved your spawns? Okay, let's get out of here and continue resetting. Everyone got so aggressive in there all of a sudden. There we go. This is the problem with some of these zones, is when the spawn point for a specific Pokemon isn't consistently where I need it to be. Yeah, maybe I'm just watching different Pokemon people. A lot of the PvP people I've been watching who are like UK, European, and North American like tournament players have generally been pretty, at least the ones I've seen have been cautiously optimistic about Champions. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't think we have a date for it yet, other than early 2026, which my suspicion is it's going to be pretty similarly timed to the Dimensions DLC for ZA coming out. Like, I think they want to get new ZA content and the new hub for online competitive, both out the way just like a few days before they announce Gen 10. So it's like, shit, more Pokemon for the game I already own, plus a new place to play Pokemon for free competitively, plus new generation games that look a little more visually impressive, maybe, if those leaked bits of reference art are to be believed. I know it's a waste running around the zone this early. I should be doing more resets before I do the run. So the problem with the autism and the ADHD coexisting is occasionally the ADHD is like, nah, I've got to go look. Did I get dopamine yet? Can I have the dopamine yet? No, we got to do a few more resets. No, I want the dopamine now, though. Now, I have a good shiny hunting zone in theory for Pansage, Pansears, Panpour, for the element monkeys. There's a rooftop near the fast travel location for Wild Zone 4 that I am certain there's like 4 element monkeys, one of which is alpha, in range of that fast travel point. So we'll see. In theory, I think it's a good fast travel point for that shiny hunt. I need to actually see one of those 4 be shiny to confirm it's going to work as a strategy. I think it's going to be a better spot than where I was originally looking for that alcove with 3 trees in it that I was running up and down the alleyway for. Because if I can be doing resets for 4 monkeys, one of which is alpha, this quickly, yeah, it's going to be way faster than a runaway, run back in system. Ooh, Emolga can sometimes be here. Okay, worth knowing. Okay, so there are, in theory, multiple spots where Emolga could be. We could get more than one in that 50 range. Ooh, East Demon. I have my first overseas trip scheduled for next year, Tokyo. Ooh, congrats. I hope it goes well. There are a hell of a lot of things I would love to see in Japan. There's a lot of cool... Honestly, it's a lot of cool trains I wish I could go on in Japan, you know? You know, let's not beat around the bush. It also seems like a potentially overwhelming place depending on where you are in there. I know my friend Arevia recently went to Japan, had an absolutely lovely time. I'm very excited for Arevia's putting together some content talking about accessibility stuff she encountered in Japan, which I'm very excited for. I got a little preview of it. I got to hear so much about accessibility built into Japanese trains. Very, very on brand for me. Kathleen says, completely off topic because I lack knowledge about Pokemon. Yeah, you don't need that here. Can I say, having birds use your balcony as a safe place offers so much beautiful birdsong. I have some birds that hang out outside my window, and it's pretty chill. I do appreciate birds being willing to have a little chat by my windowsill. Come on, give me the shinies, give me the shinies. Not the Aron, or the Agron, or the Laron, or the Drillbur, or the Onyx. Give me the 2 I need. Oh! Okay, what's shiny? Not you. Could be something in one of these holes. Okay, I'll take a shiny Onyx. I mean, we're getting shinies tonight. They're not the ones that I need from the decks, but they are shiny nonetheless. I'm certainly never going to complain about a shiny. Oh, I saw a fascinating stop-motion animated film at the weekend. What's it called? Mad Gods? I believe it is called. It is the brainchild of the person who was responsible for a lot of the stop-motion in the original Star Wars films. I think the AT-AT getting tripped over by the ship tying its legs up in wire. The Rancor in the Rancor pit. Back in the 70s, he made like 3 minutes of animation for a film he wanted to work on for an idea he had and never went anywhere with it. And then as a teacher of stop motion, he was digitizing some stuff in his office and some of his students saw and went, the hell is that? He ended up crowdfunding developing the rest of the project and doing it alongside a bunch of his students, co-creating it. It is like an surrealist horror stop-motion experience. It is told wordlessly. It is some of the most fascinating and intense stop-motion work I've ever seen. It sure is a thing. looking at a couple of screenshots of it on Google or wherever, you will quickly get a sense that it is aesthetically dissimilar to most projects of that nature. Very few stop-motion projects look quite the way this looks. Definitely the interesting bit of media I saw this weekend. Oh, this is memorable. Oh, I've seen people have been setting up macros for shiny hunting, which there's one of the 8-bit dual controllers that works with Switch 2 that apparently allows for setting up macros that involve analog stick movement. So people have been doing shiny hunting by setting up a macro that is press start, move the analog stick, press A, wait, press start, move the analog stick, A, wait. In order to, like, fully automate these. Not my style. You know, for me, what's the point if I'm not doing the grind? But I respect the hustle. It is a testament to this game that its mechanics are such. You can kind of do that, and I'm not opposed to it. I'm not going to judge anyone who that's their primary method of shiny hunting in this one. ETH Demon, I would love to at some point visit Japan. There are many factors involved, the biggest of which is it is expensive to go and fly over to Japan. It's one of those things, most of the places in the world I have seen in the last decade plus have been because I had work obligations. Basically, someone was willing to fly me out to a country, that's how I get to see that country. Other than that, it's like, look, I'm a trans person covered in tattoos. I've got some barriers to being in Japan. I had some friends that went on a trip there a couple of years ago. I would have loved to have gone along. I was simply not invited on that trip, and that was kind of a bummer. I did not know that trip had happened until I saw all of my friends together in Japan in a selfie and was like, oh. One day I'll get a chance. We'll see. Programming some macros to get rid of game tedium tends to be the first step to loading out of code. I don't think so in this case. If I was to set up a macro, if the macro is I press the macro button and I press start, move my analog stick, press A twice, hit the macro button to end it, I don't think that's really going to put me far on the coding path. I was going to say it can't be more expensive than going to the US. Yeah, but I don't believe I've been to the US for a non-work reason. Okay, with an exception. There is an exception. A lovely friend of mine flew me out to America once. Paid for me to go on holiday and spend a week together. It was a very specific circumstance, and it was an absolutely lovely week. I adore that friend to bits, and very much appreciated that very lovely journey. But, point being, I've been to America for E3, and 1 year for PAX West, I think it was. I have been to Germany for Gamescom many years, or for the Pokémon or Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championships a couple of times. I have been to, like... Oh, I went to Norway a couple of times, but those were for, like, Pride events and bookshop talks. I've been to... the Netherlands... like, judging a university game jam about accessibility. I mean, the place I've been closer to coding than macros is doing stuff like... There's a bit of me that enjoys, you know, programming games where you're, like, board games where you're setting up a series of actions to complete after each other. The problem for me with coding is, I'm bad at spelling, and noticing and seeing spelling errors. And there's a lot of languages in which you make a spelling mistake and you don't notice / fail to spot it. Oops, your code's fucked. That's on you. Didn't Australia's government bring you down to talk about games? Yes, I got to visit Victoria, because the Melbourne government, which is the province that Victoria is in, I believe, flew me out for Melbourne Games Week. Basically, Melbourne Games Week is a week-long series of, sorry, wrong way, I might have said it the wrong way around. Yeah, Melbourne, Victoria government, which is the province that Melbourne is in, I was flown out because they were doing like a week of games events in Melbourne, ranging from talks to art exhibitions to ultimately PAX Australia, I think, was the end of it. And they wanted, coverage of the kind of things going on in the Melbourne game development scene, maybe some interviews with game devs. Just, hey, there's a week of getting to learn about the Melbourne games development scene. That trip still blows my mind. They flew me out business class. Business, like, proper like, Qantas business class, so, like, fancy business class, for a halfway around the world twice trip. I've never before and probably never will again do the fancy business class. It was an experience. They put me up in a very fucking fancy hotel. The hotel room I was in that week was, might as well have been an apartment. Like, I've lived in flats smaller than that hotel room. But it did involve, like, each morning I would have to go have breakfast with, like, a government minister who would basically, I was gonna say in politer words, it wasn't in politer words. They would be like, so, what do you do, and why, justify to me why we flew you out. What do you do? What do you bring to Melbourne? Which was, it was sure a thing to wake up and be jet-lagged and have to go, justify my existence being here. Yes, it's the one time I've sat down on a flight and been handed champagne. I'm gonna say within 3 seconds of sitting in my seat, I was offered champagne. But yeah, point being, why have I not been to Japan? It's kind of expensive, and if anyone ever wants to fly me out there for work, then yeah, I'd love to see Japan. Daika, I'm going to embarrass myself here. Is Sydney not the capital? Oh, Sydney was the capital. I knew Melbourne wasn't. I know a lot about Melbourne. Melbourne has fantastic transport and public internet access across the city. Very tourist-friendly. Hey, X-Salty. How are you feeling about this new Pokemon game? I think that the more contained design definitely benefits the side quest content they want to tell, and it's an interesting change of pace. It's not the direction I would want all Pokemon games to go. The battle focus is interesting. I've played more online ranked matchmaking than I've ever done in a Pokemon game before. I'm really digging the real-time combat. I hope that aspects of this make it its way into Gen 10. I am largely here because I'm shiny hunting at this point. Had a great time, despite any problems. Is Australia's capital Canberra? Maybe. What am I looking for by reloading like this? Helioptile, the one in the top left, this sort of electric lizard thing. And the bottom right one, Emolga, which is a flying squirrel that is electric. I can show you what I have found shiny in here so far is not those. I found a Magikarp behind me, Lairon, Drillbur, Onyx, an Aron. Oh god, this is going to have overflowed, isn't it? Where have these other shinies ended up? Or is... Give me a second, I gotta see if any of my other shinies have overflowed into here. You have. Now I'm gonna move you here. Have any others before that? I think it's just you. I need to set a new box for organizational purposes, so this is where the new catches are going. Yeah, so I found Aron, Onyx, Drillbur, Lairon, but I'm looking for this thing, Helioptile, to be shiny. Or, where are the Emolgas? Are they this time? This thing, Emolga. Basically these two in this corner I'm hoping will be shiny by doing my resets. Neither of them is currently. I may pick this up for my daughter as a gift, I think. Is this on Switch 1? It is. It runs at 30 FPS rather than 60, but otherwise, it's a pretty decent port. It runs better than Scarlet and Violet did at launch, if for no other reason than it's set in one city where often buildings are obscuring your field of view. So, like, it's not having to do ridiculously large draw distances because, you know, there's buildings to stop the draw distances, which helps with performance. It runs much more in line with, like, Legends Arceus, which was, like, a reasonably solid 30. Androth said, I haven't had issues on the Switch 1, it feels much better than Violet. Violet's improved over time, but, yeah. Night and day. This is a pretty reliable 30 on Switch 1. It's a very reasonable way to play it. Yeah, each batch of resets, I just run in and go, hey, any of you shiny? Not yet. I don't need to be running in this frequently, but, every now and then my paranoia is just like, have a look, are they shiny yet? Are they shiny yet? Oh, there's a shiny Magikarp. Hell yeah. I'll give Violet another shot when I get a Switch 2. I heard it runs much better there. Locked 60 FPS. Perfect 60. Could not ask for better performance on Switch 2. It's great. There we go. Got a Magikarp. This is why I have to every now and then remember to turn around and look behind me. Because it's far enough away it's not sparkling, but it's close enough to be in the zone and get re-rolled. Ooh, I could evolve one of these and I could be bringing a shiny Gyarados to my online ranked. Ooh, shiny Mega Gyarados would be pretty cool. Does shiny Magikarp evolve into a shiny Gyarados, or does it lose its shininess? It keeps its shininess, so it will stay a shiny Gyarados, which rather than being gold like the Magikarp is, will be bright red. It'll be a bright red Gyarados, which is pretty cool. It took me 2.5 minutes to find the Furfrou on stream. It's going to take me this entire stream and I'm not going to find a single Emolga or Helioptile. I know how these things go. I used all of my shiny hunting luck trying to find a specific shiny in the first 3 minutes of the stream. Now the game is going to be like, nah, can't give you one of the ones you're after anymore. That would be greedy. Emolga, are you shiny? That Aron is huge. The only shinies I've ever had were clearly hacked legendaries I got in Wonder Trades. Yeah. Raw Spider says, I have a friend who almost bought the Switch one, who bought the Switch one almost exclusively for Ring Fit Adventure. It looked like a good fitness at home game. was getting bored of the first game. She asked me if Nintendo planned on doing a second one for Switch 2. I really must say the question really stumped me. I couldn't answer anything more than a big old, honestly, I don't know. How did the first one sell? I'm genuinely curious. I don't know how Ring Fit Adventure sold. I think it sold pretty well. I know that the Joy-Con doesn't fit. The Joy-Con 2 doesn't fit in the Ring controller. Curiosity. How many units did Ring Fit Adventure sell? Ring Fit Adventure sales. As of 2 years ago, over 15.3 million copies. You know what? Honestly, I'd be kind of surprised if they didn't. I think they would want to wait a couple of years for like more of the mass market install base to be there. But whatever year they release Animal Crossing for Switch 2 would be a perfect year to do a new Ring Fit Adventure. Yeah, they sold enough. They sold more copies of that than I'm pretty sure if you combine the lifetime sales of the Metroid Prime series, it's less than Ring Fit Adventure's sales. And that we're getting a Metroid Prime 4. So yeah, I think it'd be silly for us to not see another Ring Fit Adventure. A game that has surprisingly good accessibility for a home fitness game. In many cool ways. Yes, Animal Crossing sold 48 million copies. People think of, like, Nintendo's big heavy hitter franchises as, like, oh, the things that sell consoles are, you know, a new Mario game, like a new Mario platformer, a Zelda game, you know, that kind of thing. No, it's Mario Kart and Animal Crossing. Mario Kart 8 sold, I want to say, like, 80 million copies. Animal Crossing, yeah, coming close on 50 million. Yeah, it's a new Mario platformer or a Zelda. They are what appease the hardcore and keep like the niche of the niche happy. They're not what pays the bills. People did really want a wholesome community builder in spring of 2020. It's such a surprise. Who can guess why that might have been? Mario Odyssey. Okay, you're right. Mario Odyssey did sell 29 million copies, but you see my point. Mario Odyssey is a pretty damn big seller. It's still considerably less than an Animal Crossing or a Mario Kart. It's like a you for one Mario Kart is 2.5 Mario Odysseys, nearly 2 Mario Odysseys for an Animal Crossing. Like Mario platformers sell well, but like they don't sell Mario Kart or Animal Crossing numbers. Like the best-selling Zelda game by a wide margin is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which I think like Breath of the Wild. It's like a 20 million seller. And before that, like, the best-selling Zelda, I think, was, like, closer to, like, 5 million. Like, Breath of the Wild quadrupled the audience for Zelda. Near enough. And Breath of the Wild was the game that it felt like everyone who bought a Switch was buying it to play Zelda. And it sold maybe, like, a third of a Animal Crossing or Mario Kart. Oh yeah, no, 100% Animal Crossing knocks Mario out of the water. Sorry, 35 for Breath of the Wild. 35 million euro. Okay. Yeah, I apologize if my wording made it sound like Mario and Zelda were smaller than that. Historically, they have been. Those kind of sales are, like, fucking ridiculous. But, yeah, it's the casual family-friendly chill games. Like, people complain, like, oh, why didn't Nintendo make more, like, why don't they make more Metroid Primes and F-Zeros and, more serious, mature franchises and more Zeldas more frequently. It's like, well, because they take considerably more money and budget to make, and they don't sell as well. Let's keep resetting and see what we find. I don't think it's been re-rolling anything further up here, but I'm gonna run further up and just listen for the shiny sparkle. Oh, the Helioptile stopped spawning because it's night. Is the Helioptile, oh, it's a daytime limited spawn, I bet. Okay, do I just wait out here for daytime so I can be rolling the Helioptile at the same time? Actually, there's a bench. Let's go. Pokemon Center, bench. This is probably a daytime hunt. Yes, wait until morning. Can't believe it took me that long to go, oh, Helio means the sun. I should probably shiny hunt this in the day. Okay, nothing new spawned in the river. Hey, Kanji 101, how are you doing? Raw Spider says, they revived the Famicom Detective Club franchise because Sakamoto had one more in him that he really wanted to make, Emio, just to test out if they should give Sakamoto the budget to do it. That's one of the things I like about Nintendo, the willingness to go grave digging in their catalogue when an idea possesses their brain space. For all that people complain about Nintendo developing their games cheaply and like, oh, they should put more money into making them more high-end, more budget-intensive, more graphically impressive, they're able to take risks on weird shit because they develop their games in a way where it's like, we know that they will make money and that it will be, like, it will be good enough to sell enough copies to be worthwhile to let us keep making them. So that they can take weird risks like reviving Famicom Detective Club just because. Like, you would not see things like the Virtual Boy plastic reissue virtual console thing that's happening, or Labo, or the Mario Kart that has physical cars that you drive around your living room, but it's also the video game. You don't see that out of other game publishers because Nintendo was really sensible about how they use their money in a way that, like, it allowed them to weather the storm that was the Wii U. It will allow them to weather future storms if they, you know, do a Switch 3 and everyone hates it and there's a generation in which they're making no money. They're making enough that they can afford to play around with weird ideas. Oh, good night, Nethling. Have a good rest. Labo was wild as hell, and I fucking love it. I love that Labo exists. I love that there is a world where I got to sit and make cardboard toys for work. I was able to, for work, sit and make a little cardboard piano, and that was my job for a few days. Yeah, Labo didn't sell amazingly, but it sold enough that we got like 3 waves of it. one of my favorite things I wrote for Kotaku UK was a really stupid piece, which was if I went into like a CEX and bought a second-hand cartridge of Nintendo Labo, but like obviously it wouldn't have come with any of the cardboard because the previous owner would have already used all the cardboard and all the things. Could you still do Nintendo Labo if you bought a second-hand cartridge and didn't have any of the cardboard? The answer is yes. Nintendo made official PDFs that were to scale for the like shapes and layouts of the cardboard pieces. What you could do is get scrap cardboard, glue these templates down, cut them out carefully, and then follow along with the instructions. So I made like the little bug thing that you put the Joy-Cons on, and you could like drive it like a little vehicle using the Joy-Con vibrating would shake the legs enough to get it like moving forward or left or right. I made my own one of those, my own little knockoff one. You wouldn't download a Labo PDF. Yeah, I would. It was a very silly experience. Want to get it to be shiny. I know you can do it. Every now and then, when I feel like I've not seen a shiny in a while, and this is entirely superstition, there is no logical basis to what I'm doing here, I will save, shut the game, open the game again. I know that there's in no world any kind of mechanic by which this would get my shinies, get me some shiny luck again. But when you are doing something this repetitive, sometimes you gotta have your little rituals to keep you sane. Oh, the piano was super cool. We all close and reopen Roll20 when the dice are bad. My IRL version of that is the naughty dice get put in dice jail, and I go get a different set of dice out of the box, and I'm like, that set of dice can come back when it behaves. Is Once Upon a Katamari out, or is that an early copy? It's out. It's out now, Once Upon a Katamari. I've played maybe like half an hour of it so far. It's real good. I really like the music. I really like the conceit of the sort of time travel element to it. I think the narrative is very fun and very silly in how it's put together. There's some quality of life stuff, like being able to just do L2 to dash instead of the old dash controls, which is honestly just way better. I like the customizable cousins of the Principal Cosmos, so you can have your own customizable appearance for the character you're rolling the Katamari around as. Good variety of different types of mission to keep things feeling fresh. I'm having a good time with it so far. If it wasn't for the fact that I am absolutely smitten with Pokemon right now, I would be playing more of it, but I am, deep down that Pokemon rabbit hole. Ugh. Look, messages can go. Okay, I'm not gonna actually go in there and look for 5 minutes. I'm gonna do 5 minutes of uninterrupted resets before we go in and peek again. Give it a minute to build some shinies up. There are too many things coming out right now. At some point before Wednesday, I need to check out the first couple of chapters or episodes of Dispatch, the Telltale game style game about a superhero who gets injured and has to work on the, essentially the 911 operator helpline, dispatching out heroes to other emergencies. That sounds really cool. I hope it's good. I I have some fears that it might be a little Marvel movie humorish, maybe, but I want it to be good. I want to believe it can be good. It's too many things to be playing. I was about to go and check for shinies already again. No, that's Cyst. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which I've heard really mixed things about. It's a shame. I played like 2.5 hours of it at Gamescom back in August, or around Gamescom, for a Gamescom article. I really enjoyed it, and my big complaint was the shutting of classes behind the DLC, which they went back on, they reversed it, so like, they undid the one complaint I had about it. I thought it was really fun, but reviews do not seem to agree. Maybe I'll make time for it, but it's not sounding promising. I mean, look, my only reason to not be objective about Dispatch is I have it as one of my games in Fantasy Critic this year, so, I must not sway critical perspective on that game that there is a fantasy league trying to predict review scores that I staked my... I had to put down 2 new game franchises, and that was one of my shot in the dark calls. No, it's not the time yet. Don't check. Still 2 minutes to go. Come on, Laura. The ADHD's itching, I know. Digimon Time Stranger is probably going to be my play it over of the festive holiday game. I want to give Time Stranger proper time, but I'm going to have the time for that for a bit. It is game release season, and I'm going to have a lot of games to try and check out and see accessibility in before the end of the year when people want to know my opinions about things. One more minute. Shiny hunting is definitely quicker on the Switch too, if only for the loading speed increase. I'm doing, I'm gonna say like 10 loads of this per minute, probably. About, I would estimate around 6 seconds per reset. At 5 minutes, we're doing maybe 50. And in theory, you got to do about 1,000 statistically to find a shiny. So yeah. You staying there? Oh yeah, that's a shiny Aron for sure. Okay. I swear some Pokemon have higher shiny rates than others. And I'm saying this based on no measurable evidence. Every time I shiny hunt an area, it feels like there are certain Pokemon that multiple times in a row pop up as shiny, and others that will just resist spawning shiny. Like, it was Trubbish and Patrat in the last area. Here, the Arons. Like, not that I'm complaining about extra shinies, you know, but... Let's... put all of these in here. Actually, I might just turn one of those Arons into a Let's get an Aggron. So for some reason I don't have that ticked in my, like, tracking thing as being one that I have, like, Aggron shiny, and I don't know why I don't have it ticked. It should definitely be ticked, but... There we go, let's just throw you 34 levels up. Oh, yes, I know Alana Pierce. Alana's lovely. Alana Pierce, I know, is in Dispatch. There's a lot of cool voice actors in Dispatch. Have I still not ticked it? Yeah, for some reason I don't have Aggron ticked as shiny. I don't know why I wouldn't have a shiny Aggron, but... Okay, in this case we're down to 73 species I need shiny. Don't know how in the world I ended up with Aron and Aggron, but not... Aron and Lairon, but not Aggron in shiny. But I've got that shiny now. Don't know how I made it to this point not having a shiny one of these. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, 73 species to go. It's not the worst thing in the world that I found shiny Arons and I just don't need more of them. So far in here, the ones I have found shiny have been, funnily enough, Drillbur, Onyx, Aron, Lairon. Not a Excadrill, but they're too far into the game to spawn shiny. It really is, all the stuff within 50 meters has been shiny other than the two that I want. Because the game knows. The game knows what I'm shiny hunting. And it's being deliberately obtuse, despite me. They put sensors in the cartridge that can sense what Pokemon I want, just to make them not be shiny. It is a low-stakes conspiracy, but one that I fully believe. The game knows that I want it too much, and says, fuck you, you can't have that one. Dispatch is involved in a bit of accessibility drama that is probably going to be next week's AA episode. It's not, like, drama. Next week's AA is probably going to be me talking about the fact that, developers on Steam are misusing the no timed inputs required accessibility tag on their games. And I don't know whether it is a problem with the definition and examples Steam has given, or developers simply not taking a second to think through the different forms it could apply to, and, you know... But the end result is Dispatch and Silksong and multiple other high-profile Steam releases recently have been tagged as no timed inputs required, and then had gameplay that required timed inputs. Like, Dispatch will allow you to turn off QuickTime events, I believe, but what it won't do is let you turn off the timers on dialogue choices. That's still a timed input that is required. And I want to have a big old moan about that. That's going to be... big old moan. I need to track down the developer end instructions. I need to work out how much of it is Valve gave bad instructions and how much of it is developers fucked up. Hey, Tengu Gemini. I should have updated the name of the stream. Do you want to see how the shiny Furfrou hunt went? I had 9 kinds of shiny Furfrou, 9 out of the 10 fur patterns. And then I got the one, the final 10th one that I needed 2.5 minutes into this Furfrou hunting shiny stream. So I now have all of the shiny Furfrous. This was the last one. This was the one I got 2.5 minutes into the stream tonight. So instead we are shiny hunting. Oh yeah, let me move you out of this box as well. And at this point, I can just move over. I'm now hunting Heliolisk, Helioptile, Heliolisk, Emolga. I love that base form Furfrou is just Jareth the Goblin King, but as a dog. Can you groom Furfrous, or do you catch them in different forms? You can groom them. You catch them all, I believe. I don't think there's any in the wild in their trimmed forms. But you catch them untrimmed, and then there is a NPC that you have to do some side quests with. Basically, you got to teach her Scyther how to do haircuts, and then she gives haircuts to all your Furfrous. So thankfully, I wasn't having to shiny hunt, like, a specific Furfrou form. It was just find any shiny Furfrou and, like, give it a trim. Okay, let's give it another 3 minutes of resets and see if we've made any progress. I believe in you, game. You can roll me the shiny I'm actually after. You did it in the first 2.5 minutes of the stream. You can do it again now. You can make me have a real cool hype moment where both of the things I need shiny are shiny at the same time. I walk in and I can tick 2 different species off of my living shiny national dex. We could maybe get it below 70 species tonight. How quickly can you get a shiny to spawn compared to a standard Pokemon game? Different Pokemon games have different methods. The Switch era games from, like, honestly, Legends Arceus onwards, so Legends Arceus, this, Scarlet and Violet, have some pretty good methods of spawning shiny Pokemon pretty quickly. This is one of the quicker ones. So I have the shiny charm, which means that my shiny odds are around 1 in 1,000-ish. I don't believe it's 1 in 124, 1024. I think it's around 1 in 1,300. Either way, a little over 1 in 1,000. Every time I do this fast travel, any Pokemon within 50 meters of this location I fast traveled to are given that 1 in 1,000 spin to see if they're shiny. So the more of these spins I can do in rapid succession, the more that I'm getting 50 meters worth of Pokemon to go, are you a shiny? What about now? What about now? What about now? Now, I can't control what things in that 50 meters will be shiny. So will it be the thing that I need to be shiny? Yeah, that might take a while. I spent probably a good 25 hours shiny hunting those 10 shiny Furfrous. It was not a quick process. If we're just after anything shiny, I would bet pretty good money that in about a minute, when I stop doing this fast travel, there'll probably be something shiny in here. Whether it's the 2 Pokemon I'm looking for to be shiny, who can say? But we've had... Hello, Curiosity, ignore the rubbish. 2, 3, 4, 5... 9? I think I found 9 shinies in here so far in, I'm gonna say, an hour? Not the ones I was after, but in about an hour of gameplay I found maybe 9 shinies. So check that Magikarp behind me, that's not shiny. Check the dirt pile. I should double check how different shiny Helioptile looks. Nope, nothing shiny this time. No guarantees. You can do this and not find something shiny, but let me double check. I'm pretty sure I know what shiny Helioptile looks like. Let me double check. I should know what I'm looking for. Helioptile shiny. Yeah, it's bright orange. It's like a deep orangey red. So that's super easy to see. I don't know why I keep locking onto them to see if they're shiny. It's going to be bloody obvious when it's shiny. And shiny Emolga is one of the more subtle ones, I think. Yeah, so it goes from its ears being black to being sort of like a light golden brown. Shouldn't be the hardest one to spot again, but certainly not as, like, instantly observable as, yeah, as the Helioptile's gonna be. Hoping for Pokemon Legends EA players that on the day of Halloween there'll be a nice Halloween themed event with spooky season themed variants of some Pokemon. I don't think that'll be a thing in ZA. You might get like a Mimikyu with like a pumpkin hat on in Pokemon Go that can't be transferred to home without losing its cute outfit. Pokemon Go, for all of my problems with it, has been pretty good about like seasonally themed Pokemon outfit variants. Never been a thing in the proper RPGs, unfortunately. Yeah, cool. Let's until 5 past. We're gonna do resets. We're gonna just do a few more minutes of. Yeah, it's an unfortunate one, this, because both Helioptile and Emolga, at best, they'll be one of each within the 50-meter range. The problem being that even those one of each spawns aren't guaranteed. They are less common spawns. Which means that, just by nature of not every one of these reload rolls will be one that is a Helioptile or a Molga in the first place, let alone then seeing if that's shiny. As much as I joke about the fact that it feels like the game's working against me, law of numbers does mean that, like, if 1 in 3 times it's not an Emolga or not a Heliolisk in that spot, it's going to take me a percentage longer to do the hunt. I've still yet to find a shiny in ZA other than that Mareep. Glad the overworld sound is back, though. Cinnamon Robin, would you like a fun little cheat you can do to find your first set of shiny Pokemon real easy and very quickly? Because I can show you a way to get a couple of shiny Pokemon very easily in a very simple way. Much quicker than what I'm doing here, but it only works for a specific area of them. Give me a minute to finish this hunt. We're going to go to Wild Zone 3, and I'm going to introduce you to the fastest shiny hunting method in this game that only works, really, in Wild Zone 3. It's also the most mechanically easy to just shut your brain off and do in the background. You can even do it with just an elastic band. But we're going to do about 1 more minute of resets here, and I'm going to see if the 2 I need are here. Yes, the place I'm about to show you is the first place that people worked out, like, oh, I kind of understand how shiny hunting works now in this game, when people were trying to work it out originally. We're nearly at 5 past, sorry, I gotta stick it out before we check my spawns. So close. There we go. We will check for if either of the shinies I need are here yet. And a Molga's not shiny. Check for anything shiny while we're here. Well, in this case, screw it. We're gonna go find some easy shinies to get a sense of completionism. Yeah. So, head to Wild Zone 3, one of the earliest ones you go to. This shiny hunting method will work for any of the things on this list. All you are going to do is you are going to walk in. You see this tower on the left? We're going to walk up the stairs in this tower and start holding the analog stick down. You can use a hair elastic or an elastic band to hold it down, and you'll see what is happening is I hold the analog stick to go down the stairs, and then hold the analog stick to go back toward the screen, going back up the stairs. Every time I go up the stairs and down the stairs, at the top of the stairs, it's like I fast travel to this zone, and then when I get to the bottom again, it's like I fast travel to this zone. It is checking every Pokemon in Wild Area 3. Basically, everything is close enough to these stairs to potentially be shiny rolled. And stuff outside of here. Like, there's some rooftops nearby, but there's a bunch of stuff that could be shiny. I'm gonna give this like a couple of minutes, and I can say with pretty good confidence that if we give this a couple of minutes, there'll be multiple shinies. My first batch of shinies in this game, I did this for like half an hour without the shiny charm while I was like taking a work call just out of curiosity. I found like 9 shinies in one go. Yeah, it is a literal AFK shiny hunt you can do with nothing more than an elastic band to hold the analog stick down. You know what? Out of curiosity, I'm gonna do it until 10 past, and we'll see what we find. Because it's always nice to get a couple of shinies. Also, there's a shiny Litleo. There's a couple of alphas that are static encounters at either end of these stairs. You can get a shiny alpha Litleo or a shiny alpha. The little bird Fletching. Yeah, Fletching. Either of them can be shiny alphas. I have shiny alphas of both of them. They're pretty cool. I'm gonna give it 3 more minutes. Gives me a minute to just double check what else we need to hunt. Do you still do training sessions with chat? I can do. If I have any, if I've caught any shinies tonight on stream that I do not need, like all those duplicates I was getting in whatever the electrical zone was I was shiny hunting in, and anyone would like one, I am more than happy to trade a shiny from my duplicate collection to people. I'm happy to send people shinies they can play with. That is 0 problem for me, because, yeah, screw it. I've got more shinies than I know what to do with at this point in my life. Give it another minute and a half. Or until I get to the bottom of the stairs and see a shiny Litleo, which is a possibility. I listen out at the bottom of the stairs, gonna hear a shiny sparkle. Sometimes if something is shiny near enough the bottom of the stairs, I can hear the sparkle before I come back up. Where are we at time-wise? Okay, about a minute to go. Oh yeah, no worries, Roll Spider. Curiosity, totally understand. Yeah, like... Oh. Yeah, I was doing a bunch of training streams, particularly when like Scarlet and Violet first came out, because I already had all the starters in duplicates because I was shiny hunting them. I was like, yeah, come get your extra starters, come get the starters you don't have in your game, etc. And let's see, you know what, I'll leave it here. Let's see. Did I find any shinies with this method in about 3.5 minutes, I'm going to say? Oh, yes. What did we get? What did we win? Shiny Skidoo. That's at least 1 shiny. Never the Pikachus. Never the bloody Pikachus. Welcome, Raiders. Hello, everyone. I'm Laura. I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch. Shiny Skidoo, shiny Esper. Yeah, Cinnamon Robin, you see already, that was... I did not leave that for very long at all. 2 shinies in here. But if you're going to try this method, what I would say is also leave this area, go up this elevator over here and check the western roofs. Yeah, Terra, just like you. Check these roofs over on the west, because sometimes these scatterbugs are close enough to that tower that they can be shiny. And these bugs over on this side of the roof, like the Budoos, yeah, the Budoos or the Pavilion up here are also close enough to the tower that they could be shiny. So if you're going up and down that tower, if you're checking for like, oh, did I get any shinies? Check up on these roofs as well. The roofs nearest to the tower. You will sometimes have shinies up there you might not notice. But yes, let's get back to hunting in Zone 14. But yeah, you see the gist. If you want like a quick, easy win on some shinies, that is a literal AFK shiny hunt location. That is pretty easy to mindlessly do. One of my favorites. One of my favorites of the new Mega Pokemon. Look, it's meme-worthy, but I do have a soft spot for Mega Starmie. More serious answers. Drampa. Drampa. New Drampa looks bloody cool. Frostlass. Mega Frostlass is a great design. Let me remind myself. What are the new ones? New Mega Evolutions. I gotta remind myself which are the new ones. Well, Lucha is cool. I kind of wish I'd seen it in game for the first time rather than like on that reveal. Malamar, super weird and interesting. Not one I'm ever going to use in game, but I do think it's a really interesting design. Greninja, just pretty rad. Mega Emboar is cool. Mega Meganium feels like a bit of a wasted opportunity. Mega Feraligatr, I like it in theory more than execution. Mega Skarmory just looks like a shiny Skarmory. It feels a bit wasted. Mega Excadrill, it's so top heavy, it's bonkers. I kinda think it's cool. Mega Scolipede, yeah. Tengu Gemini says, I'm in dire need of learning what ability Mega Scolipede will have that makes up for all that lost speed. Yeah, what kind of... Either what ability is it going to have, or are they, like, positioning it to be... Like, if you get Trick Roomed, Mega Evolve it to, like... Is that the strat with Scolipede? Is turn it into a Trick Room... user by deliberately tanking its own speed? I'm sure there's a game plan for Scolipede. Mega Scrafty just having, like, a cool hoodie on is... It's fucking bonkers, but I'm into it. Electros, yeah, so-so. Mega Chandelure, yeah, it's just more Chandelure, it's fine. Chestnut and Delphox have, like, decent designs, so-so. Mega Pyroid, they just made it Pokemon Shield. Mega Dragalge. I'm never going to use Dragalge, but I do think it's a way cooler design than standard Dragalge. I wish that was the default appearance of Dragalge. I might actually use it. Mega Eternal Floette is, like, just nice to know that exists in the game. Mega Barbacle is, again, one of those where I'm like, I don't know if I think it's cool enough as a Mega Evolution, but if that were the third stage of Barbacle, it would be pretty rad. Mega Phalanx turns into a Megazord, and that's... It's so stupid. I love it. I love my big Voltron of little guys. Nothing shiny in here. Do I maybe do this more the way that I was doing the shiny hunts in Area 19 for a bit? Do I just run in, run around, run out for a minute? I'm gonna probably see more Helioptiles that way. Is it worth it? I'm probably not seeing enough Helioptiles to justify this. It's another bloody shiny Drillbur. It's got it evolves into Excadrill. I could have a shiny Excadrill. I'm kind of into the Mega Raichu X and Y designs. Even if, when they first showed up on screen, for a second I thought we were finally getting Gorochu. The originally planned third stage evolution, well, I guess fourth stage evolution of the Pikachu line. Let us have an evolved Raichu form that isn't a Mega Evolution. Although the fact they've given Raichu a Mega Evolution, I guess means that they plan to never give it another evolution. It would be such an easy win for getting like old Pokemon fans excited for a new Pokemon. Is your Pikachu can evolve an extra time now into a cool, even cooler new Pikachu. Like, I feel like there's an audience of people that would be, like, that'd be an easy win for. I haven't really stopped to consider that giving a Pokemon a Mega Evolution kind of locks Nintendo narratively out of giving it a new standard evolution down the line. That is interesting. Aggro less aggressively. Tengu Gemini says, I don't play Pokemon competitively, but I'm kind of obsessed with the idea of it, so I think it's funny that Mega Pyroar doesn't help Pyroar be any good. Again, maybe it'll get some ridiculous ability that'll turn that around, but yeah, I love following the competitive scene, even if I am terrible at competitive play in Pokemon. I love the idea of one day there being a Pokemon game that I get serious about the competitive scene in. And you know what? Genuinely, if live Pokemon tournament events had a side event where you could go take part in ZA Royale tournaments, I think I could get really into those. I played all the way